What's up fams, Anis here from allclouded, and today I got a video on why I personally suggest that we should be running no less than 2 mods. Now when I first started vaping, I come from being a heavy smoker for longer than a decade, and I knew that I personally would have to have a device on me all the time, otherwise I would fall into the trap of going back to cigarettes. So within a week or two of purchasing my first device, I went and upgraded pretty fast. Now it's very common when we first purchase a device, whether it's from a vendor or whether it's from online, they do actually take quite a bit of a hiding. Now this is mainly because we're just getting used to vaping. We used to just throwing our cigarettes on the table, putting them in our pockets and stuff, and this is extremely common and it happens all the time. Now the worst thing about this is if I'm just converting over from cigarettes and this is my only device, I drop it, I crack the glass, I break the button or something like that happens, and this is the only thing that I have to try to get me off the cigarette and it's out of action, then I'm more likely to go back to smoking because I'm still fresh from converting over. So this is the main reason why I'm pro for people using 2 vapes. Now when talking to a well-known member of our New Zealand community, when I was talking about that everybody should be trying to run at least 2 devices, he said we both have that in common. He's extremely pro for it and you'll never see him out on the road and he doesn't have 2 vaporizers on him. And that's when he said to me, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So what's the best pros about running 2 devices? Now if we're only running 1 device, there's multiple reasons for this. We could luck out, we could end up with flat batteries, we could drop it, we could crack the tank. There's all types of issues that we could come across. And if we're in after hours, there's no vendors open, there's no way that we can order online even, or we don't have any mates that we're quite close to where we can borrow a device, then we could strike out, and what we definitely don't want is for us to go buy a packet of cigarettes. So let's check my daily out and about carry bag. We get it, you vape. So this is my carry bag when I go over to my local, or just when I'm out and about, or I go over to a mate's house and we're going to have a couple beers or something. I'll generally take something like this on me. And the main reason for that is I hate putting stuff in my pockets. I don't know what's going to go on in my pockets. I don't know if I'm going to fire it, if maybe it doesn't have an on and off button. And I just want to make sure that everything on me is in the same place. So this is what most of the time I'll actually carry on me. I always make sure I've got plenty of batteries on me. I might carry a tube or something, and I absolutely do not want to run into a flat battery. That's going to be an absolute disaster for me. I also carry a couple mods on me just for different situations, maybe something that's a bit more mellow, maybe something that can pack more of a punch. And then the other side I'll carry a couple bottles of juice, a little bit of cotton in case I need a rework, basic tools, and that's my basic bag when I'm out and about and I'm roaming around. Now obviously this is just my personal preference. If you even go into the shop, you actually notice that a lot of the vendors that work in the shops, a lot of the staff, a lot of the owners in that, they will carry multiple mods on them. I've seen people carrying 10 with them, 5 with them, you know, a whole backpack, you know. That's just their personal preference on what they use for the day or what they like carrying on them, you know, all sorts of different mods. It's just for their daily preference, and the same for me too. This is just what I like carrying on me, you know, just in case for different situations. If I luck out with batteries, I always want to make sure I've got cotton and stuff on me. If I am drinking or something, I give someone a turn, they burn all my cotton, or you know, I never know. I just like keeping my stuff on me. Hashtag vape life. Now once again, this doesn't have to be your daily or your daily carry bag, or you know what you need to go out and about. It's probably not as convenient for other people carrying a bag, but I'm just trying to emphasize the point of just making sure that you got enough stuff on you, or you have more than 1 device so that you don't go back to cigarettes. So a good example of paired up devices where 2 is 1 and 1 is none is something like this RX and a T20. Now I know the build that I have in this Icon is absolutely thirsty and I might run out of juice fast, whereas the amount of watts that runs through this coil in this T20 is going to be very conservative, so as long as I have a tank on me, I've definitely got a backup. But then I also know if I'm in a situation where I'm using this, I drop it and I actually crack the tank, then I've still got my dripper to rely on. So you don't necessarily have to carry a whole bag of things. You can even just leave your stuff at home, you know, whatever, but you do not want to luck out and have to resort to go back to smoking, because the urge and the temptation is still there with all of us, and that's the last thing that we want to happen. Now another good example is the V8 stick. I see quite often. I've got a lot of friends that have broken the glasses on them. It does actually have a big tank on the big baby beast, and they can easily crack if you don't have the little rings around the side. So pairing it up with something like the T20 is an absolute great combo. I always tell my mates that do actually have V8 sticks that are still coming off cigarettes that they really should pick them up a little device, or even maybe pick them up a bigger device, you know, buddy it in some type of way with a bigger device, or buddy it with a smaller device, just to make sure that in no way you're going to go back to smokes because of a cracked glass or the battery runs flat or any of those type of scenarios. Now if you do have something like a mouth to lung unit like a T20 or a T18, which are the most common ones, Ego AIOs, and you're not looking for an actual bigger device, you want to stick more to the mouth to lung units, then you can pair it up with a smaller one. Just pair it up with something like iCare. They're normally based around $20 or something, so they're definitely cheap. They're a great thing to have on hand. So I'm really pro for telling people to have a spare mouth to lung unit on the hand, because sometimes sub-ohming all the time, you can run out of juice all the time. They're extremely thirsty, all sub-ohm tanks compared to mouth to lung units, and having something like a spare mouth to lung unit like a T20 or a T18 or any of those type of devices, they're extremely cheap to use and they last a long time. I mean, the coils can last for a couple weeks themselves, and if you're getting really low on juice, then you can just resort to them, and then it can carry you over till payday, because the last thing we want to do is actually run out of juice. And another actual pro of running two devices is if you're actually looking to upgrade. So if I had something like this RX, I wanted to put a new dripper or a new tank on top, then all I'll do is I'll just run my mouth to lung unit because it's so cost effective, and I'll just save up the money that I'd actually chew on juice on this mod, because this thing is quite thirsty like most RDAs or drippers or tanks are. So if you run a mouth to lung unit, you can actually save a lot of money just by skimping on the amount of juice that you're going to actually chew through your sub-ohm device, and then that way you can actually just upgrade or get your decks or actually get a new mod a whole lot faster. So these are the reasons why 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And the whole reason why I suggest we run two devices is to make sure that we don't luck out and we have to resort going back to cigarettes while we're still fresh converting. Or even if you've been vaping for a while, have another little device on hand. If somebody comes around and they're always outside smoking while you're sitting inside vaping, then just chuck them a little pen and they can just vape away on it inside with you, so it's not so antisocial. And also, if you're looking to upgrade your device, then you can just run your little mouth to lung unit until you get the mod you want. So don't forget, fam, like, comment, share and subscribe. And keep it cloudy, fam.